Good. Yep. Cool. All right, go ahead, son. Go ahead and introduce the first song, bro, please.
Live already? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, waiting for y'all to filter through, but while we wait, I will start us off with the first song. This is on Universal Brothers page, and we welcome y'all all. Thank y'all for tuning in. The song is called Kaboom, and I'll send the link in to the comments in a little bit.
Big up the DCE, Universal Brothers and Sisters, shout for the new earth. Yo, we like that long days ride, yeah. Kaboom, we stepped in the room. Jews living with crystals, healing all of them issues. Too high frequency missiles, and love all the instrumentals. It's still a crew, we gon' step like a marching band with big reps. I'ma sing the masses, we vets, yeah. God be placing no bets, make the light and stay fresh. Yup, Papa taking no match. Step back, can't kiss himself. In a sense of back, some soul blood. Got gratitude in my chest. Yo, that thing gone as I crash. Kaboom, we stepped in the room. Galactic Federation, it's all about your patience. Back in this dimension, it's a brand new star nation. Cool, shout. Kaboom, we stepped in the room. Galactic Federation, it's all about your patience. Back in this dimension, it's a brand new star nation. Cool, shout. Connected dog like Fiddle Ross. Mad diamonds off insulation and the gold and star seeds. Nothing but EGs and OGs, my dude. We all off in this piece. Yeah, the frequencies gon' increase. Homeboy, you to stay cool. Just letting my moves. That Mike Jackson smooth. Lady forward, no falling. Throw my hat when I'm ballin'. Start beating and playing. DNA is unfolding and so the flash still jumping. The darkness is dissolving, about to put it off of my team. I let you call me crazy. The truth is so amazing. Hold right, I ain't scared, man. Wanna see that freedom? It's leaking out of my being. Now it's banging out of your speaker. Yeah. Kaboom, we stepped in the room. Galactic Federation, it's all about your patience. Back in this dimension, it's a brand new star nation. Cool, yeah, Kaboom, we stepped in the room. Galactic Federation, it's all about your patience. Back in this dimension, it's a brand new star nation. Cool, yeah. To the stars, Galactic Universe.
Yo, I'm on. How's Turkey, bro? What's going on, Pam? How's Dubai? Got a lot of people out and about this evening. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so very much for joining us here once again for our Let's Build. And of course, today's subject matter, we will speak on the nature of the Earth grid. Of course, live here in Iran from Wiesbaden, Germany. It is currently 8:38 Central European time. And yes, it is time for us to connect as always and speak on some of the aspects of our existence here on planet Earth as we continue forth amongst this transition, this healing transition, which is the unfoldment of the liberation of the Earth, the human species here on planet Earth. Once again, a great pleasure and honor for us to connect with you in this now moment, and who I am as your commander, Ashtar. Thank you so very much. fumbling with this computer here, so just give me a second. All righty, so as always, before we start our seminar portion, it is necessary for us to clear our energy fields. It's been a long day for a lot of us. There's a lot of energy taking place. You have a full moon approaching, and of course, this does have an effect, a great effect on our energy fields. And once again, this is a connection that we share that is healing in nature. So let us all go ahead and get into our exercise. Once again, the 60-second meditation or 1-minute meditation. We will close our eyes, still our bodies, and connect with our heart space, bring a sense of conscious attention to our heart space and releasing all that is of the past and of the illusion of the future to return to this now moment, which is a miracle, which is a blessing, which is life. So let us all take a couple of deep breaths and relax our bodies, allow everything around you to be, and we will connect in this now moment. So open your hearts, 60 seconds. Gently allow yourself to return to your bodies, to embrace your space of awareness, embracing your legs, start embracing your arms, get the blood flowing through your body once again. Allow yourself to open your eyes. Once again, the nature of our exercise is not only to release the energy and clear the space within our energy field to allow us to connect from a place of grounded presence. It is also for the purpose of who we are, of your angelic guardians, to connect with you, where it's necessary to recognize that, yes, the sonic expression or projection of energy that comes from this physical vehicle, it has its space, it has its form of service, it has its place in what it is that we're experiencing. However, the true guidance comes from within you, where who we are, of your guardians, connect with you and share these energies, which are translated to intuitive notions that are clothed in the feelings being expressed sonically through this vehicle. Yes, I am expressing energies of awareness sonically to you directly. However, once again, the true communication takes place within you. This is not me telling you anything. I'm not teaching you anything. This is an awareness of your own. However, through your openness, through your wisdom, through your focused presence, you're able to translate these energies that already exist within you, where I am but a conduit of the sonic knowing within infinite intelligence existing in your own heart space. So, being that the case, this is a great honor to share. So, thank you for being here once again, and let's get started. And being the sophomore semester, if you will, of our Let's Build seminars, we are moving slightly deeper into more complex aspects of our existence, our physical environment, if you will, from a spiritual perspective. However, it is necessary for us to recognize that these are very, very broad subject matters that can be expressed to a certain extent. However, the depth of such topics will not be covered in its entirety through these communications. We're speaking on the Earth grid today. The Earth grid has many, many layers, which are extremely complex, and even aspects of the Earth grid in its totality can be broken off into less built seminars of their own. Many aspects of the Earth grid can be broken down into less bills of their own. However, we're basically scratching the surface of the nature of such a reality at this point, where it continues to be about grounding. We speak on these subject matters just for the purpose of allowing a sense of clarity as you continue to ground amongst the experience. However, much detail will be expressed as a actual proactive and integrated aspect of the transition that we're experiencing. In layman's terms, what that means is we'll be expressing the nature of the Earth grid to a certain extent. However, it's necessary to know that amongst this transition, what is taking place is our intent of our galactic fleet is to connect with you in person directly. With those of you on this ascension path, you will be experiencing much training, which involves expressing the nature of the Earth grid in its entirety on a first-hand basis, where what is being expressed now is more, not necessarily superficial, but the very surface, superficial level of expression in detail as far as what the Earth grid involves, how it affects you, the Earth itself, and how we can work with it, and allowing for a sense of recognition of what's taking place here. So now that the disclaimers are over, let's get into the meat and potatoes, if you will, of the nature of our Earth grid. So know that the Earth, Mother Gaia, our home planet, the planet which is the hosting sphere that we live on, that we live here with, that has nurtured us throughout all the lifetimes we've experienced, is actually a living organism. It's not just rocks and dirt and trees and animals. There's an ecosystem. There is a living organism that is absolutely, positively, infinitely intelligent and very complex in nature, in which we embrace all life, and being the physical body, and being, or the human body, the human species, and being the resident form, the resident physical vehicle that is connected to this planet. This is the physical vehicle in which incarnate souls in the physical operate on this planet with or through. It is the vehicle upon the highway of life here on planet Earth. It is designed specifically for the planet Earth experience in this now moment. This is the nature of our vessels connected directly with the planet itself. I digress. Once again, the planet is a living organism with many parts that affect how the resident species, which is the human species, operate here on the planet. Amongst that organism, there are many, many levels that exist in a living being, in being an organism, and actually being alive. There's a central core sun, just like we have a heart. The Earth has a heart, and of course, recognizing the inner Earth and its sun. There's a chakra system, just like we have a chakra system within our physical vessels. The earth has a chakra system, an energy field, the energy field that we know as our own, the toroidal field that we operate with in the physical body. The earth has a toroidal field that is similar to our own, as along with every other organism here on planet Earth. And of course, the energy grid that we currently operate with, or that we currently operate alongside or under, if you will, exists on all dimensional fields, 1st through 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 12th. All dimensions have an energy field along with the earth. Whatever plane the earth exists on, once again, there's an energy field or a grid, an energy grid that goes along with that existence. So let's take a moment to process that. Once again, this is very complex information. However, intuitively, as you ground and move beyond the analysis, you're able to recognize the nature of what's being expressed. There's many titles. There's actually quite a few different energy fields, along with those that are recognized amongst the spiritually awakened. However, there's more. There's more than one energy field. Some call the energy grid the magnetic field. Some call them dragon paths or dragon lines, song lines, the Becker-Hagen line or Becker-Hagen lines, connected with the 5 platonic solids, the geometric shapes that form solids here in this dimension. Of course, that line or that energy grid connects with around 4,682 specific points on Earth. This is all random information that's not necessary for us to analyze. However, it is there. It is a level of existence. However, the point being, the earth has an energy field. This energy field is interconnected. It's interconnected with the chakras of the planet. The chakras of the planet radiate specific energies that are associated with our chakras, just as our chakras are vortices for specific frequencies. Those of you who travel frequent, who travel a lot, you can recognize, if you're sensitive enough, that there is a energy to certain geographic spaces on the planet. Whenever you move or shift or visit another country, a different atmosphere, another continent, sea, a different plane of existence here on the surface, you can feel a different energy. You can feel a specific frequency of energy, the energies around specific spots, the ley lines, the noise, the interconnected nature of the grid itself is living. Here's where, once again, you recognize that the earth is actually a living organism. It has different energies associated with its foundation and the energies of the people. In these specific areas on the surface, they're affected by these energies. However, there are those who are spiritually mature enough to work with these energies. Of course, it can be not necessarily manipulative. However, it could cause a soul to energetically move in a particular direction based on the energies of that area. However, even with that being said, it's necessary to recognize infinite intelligence. A soul is not in a specific area of the planet or on the surface by accident. There's still the orchestrations of infinite intelligence in all that we do. Perfect example. If you're called on a trip to go to a specific area of the planet, to a specific location, even if it's for a leisure vacation. I want to go to, for example, the Canary Islands or somewhere like what you mentioned the other day, Bali. No, remember you were showing me the other day?
Oh yes, it was
Belize?
I forgot.
It was something with a B.
Yeah,
he forgot. Anyway,
no.
Once again, infinite intelligence is at work. If you're even called to a specific area of the surface of the planet, even for a leisure space or even to relocate as your living location, the intelligence of life is always serving you. You're experiencing your own energy. And being that the planet is a living organism, we move and shift along with these energies. Where we were born geographically has a lot to do, or by design. And of course, it has a lot to do with our soul contract and our mission. Where we're the Maldives? Okay, gotcha. So anyway, even if you were to move to, you're interested or you have the intent of going on vacation in the Maldives, there's intelligence in that. The most wise and sensitive souls recognize this is just not for superficial purposes. Oh, it's a nice place. I've always been curious about it. Know that these internal notions to move in these particular directions are calling you for specific purposes that are spiritual in nature, which also involve your own energetic sense of presence. There are a lot of you on your missions and your services, your divine services. You're called to move in different places around the world. And of course, the energies of these locations are for you to embrace as you move with infinite intelligence, using your intuition, of course. The interconnected nature of life in general and working with these energies, the grid of the planet, are truly a blessing. And as we continue to embrace that which is taking place, the unfoldments, we recognize these energies. So, of course, the earth grid interacts with our auric field. Not to say it's, and I used that word haphazardly earlier as far as manipulation, but the energies of the planet and where we're located has an effect on our energy fields. It has an effect on our energy fields because, once again, we are working with the earth, and as we move into specific areas of the planet, the specific energies of that location on the surface of the planet affect us as individuals and call us to do things that our soul has designed for us to, in actuality, embrace, to do. Even if it's, once again, the chakra, moving close to chakra grid locations on the surface of the planet, this is necessary. I'll actually name, and I'm pretty sure most of you, or those of you who do much research, are aware of the chakra centers amongst the planet. However, I will name them for those who are not aware. We are basically connecting and kind of refreshing ourselves to the nature of the planet that we live on, our home planet. The root chakra. The root chakra center of the planet Earth is located in Mount Shasta on the west coast of the USA. The sacral chakra of the planet is located in Lake Titicaca in Peru. Sacral chakra energy, just once again, there's a deep correlation with the chakra energies of a specific area and the souls that are incarnate in this specific area. As just mentioned, the sacral chakra center being located in Peru, right over Lake Titicaca, no pun intended. However, there's an intuitive knowing that, there's an intuitive sense in recognizing that the souls in this particular region, native to this particular region of the surface of planet Earth, and this is not to project judgments in any way, shape, or form. However, the souls native to this region of the planet are very sexually active. I did look at it.
Oh man.
Wait, I mean, it is what it is.
No, I mean, you know what I mean? I'm just making a point. Once again, intuitively consistent. Everybody, humans have sex. Get over it. A lot of it. Yes. Every day. We observe it all the time. Once again, this is a sacred activity beyond all judgment. But once again, the souls in that region of the world are very sexually active. And once again, this is a divine activity. However, the energies of the region have an impact on the energy fields of the souls in that region of the planet. Moving on, the heart chakra. And this is actually a sacred location indeed. Glastonbury there in the United Kingdom is the home of the heart chakra center, the vortex in which the heart chakra energies of the planet shift or move to. And this is an interesting, well, not even interesting, it's a beautiful location because it's also the location of the third eye chakra energies on the planet, Glastonbury, United Kingdom. Both chakras, the heart and third eye chakra vortexes exist in this same spot, and is beautiful indeed, where there's a lot of energies there that involve the open heart and, of course, psychic abilities, sensitive souls that recognize the nature of this that we're experiencing here on the planet. The throat chakra energies, the blue ray, of course, being in the region of the Great Pyramid in ancient Egypt, or Egypt in Northern Africa. Of course, this is where the throat chakra energies exist here on the planet. And once again, another reflection of the creative center of the planet having a lot to do or express of the people from this region of the planet. And this is a beautiful thing as always. And the crown chakra energies on Mount Kalias in Tibet, in the Himalayas, one of the great mountains there. Once again, that crown chakra, where this energy or the people of this particular region are some of the most spiritually embracing, spiritually evolved as far as people are concerned as a collective. This is where this energy exists on the planet, and the souls of this region are very, very in tune with the spiritual nature of life itself, and this is a beautiful thing. With that being said, if you look at a map of the Earth grid itself, there are many geometric shapes where the planet itself, geometrically, they call it a dodecahedron, or no. It's the 12 peg sided ball or sphere, where the Earth grid is basically a connection of lines that move in unison and connect with each other. This is the Earth grid itself. The dodecahedron, which is the amalgamation of such a shape, is a sacred geometric formation where it connects all of the major landmarks, or not even landmarks, sacred sites of the planet when it comes to the pyramids, Machu Picchu, Easter Island. Of course, all of these structures have a very sacred nature to them in connecting with this energy. Here's something to realize. These structures were created on a fourth dimensional basis by those of extraterrestrial origin, amongst, in actuality, those who actually are amongst our collective and who we are, the Ascended Masters, creating these structures in the fifth, moving down to the fourth dimensional sphere onto the third dimensional plane and manifest. Of course, this is the physical realization of the Christ consciousness grid. This is the crystalline grid that was created by several ascended masters amongst this unfoldment, this transition in the early portions of that which is humanity's evolution. It was necessary to create these structures on such a plane, etherically, through its design and being perfect, and actually manifest themselves on the third dimensional plane in the physical. And the purpose of that was to allow for the Christ consciousness grid, which is the dodecahedron as explained before. The Christ consciousness grid is basically an energy grid that is working along with the fifth dimensional plane, the fifth dimensional grid of the planet, created by the ascended masters and who we are, and moving into the third dimensional plane so we can allow for and unfold the Christ consciousness grid here on the planet. In the physical, this transition of 13,000 years involves something that has never been done before here in the physical, which is the physical ascension of who you are as the return of the Christ. This is the purpose of this grid in moving into the third dimensions, an interconnected field of energetic centers that weave together in allowing for the consciousness to feed into these grids, the consciousness of the planet to feed into these grids, allowing for the awareness, the evolution of the human species. Now, let's get into a bit of explanation. That's a bit. Well, that's a lot. So, humanity as a whole, as a species, all are experiencing different filters of pure, unconditional love. When I say filters, I mean energetic filters. The nations of planet Earth, the nations of planet Earth are all experiencing these filters. And these are filters of the divine truth. These filters serve as catalysts amongst the consciousness grid of the planet. So what does that mean? Here's a perfect example. The United States of America, probably the youngest country on the surface of planet Earth. The souls there, or the social structure there, involves a lot of the lower chakra energies and focuses when it comes to, once again, the root chakra, secular, and the solar plexus. What are we talking about? Money, power, respect. There's the focus on survival when it comes to Americans. There's a focus on a lot of money. There's a focus on relationships, relations, and power when attempting to discover aspects of self. And we're not necessarily speaking on an individual basis. We're talking about the social structure of the country. And the social structure, the energy of this plane of existence, or the region of the surface of the planet that these souls exist in. Now, when we go to places like maybe northern or Western Africa, there's a very rich history. There's a lot of passed on tradition that involves a deeper level of consciousness, of appreciation for nature, if you will. There's souls there that don't know what a Maybach is and probably don't care. They're enjoying the land. They enjoy and appreciate the sun, fresh fruits and vegetables. Of course, this is not to say that there is not a westernized basis in these cities. However, the souls on an energetic level have focuses that exist beyond the lower chakras. There's a deeper expression or experience. It's much more complex than this, because once again, like when you go to China, for instance, there's communism. There's a structure that implements a certain level of control, where the freedoms that Americans enjoy of self-expression and the things that involve such a level of existence, they don't have that there. However, there's an appreciation of their history, and the souls there are, some are content with the way that they operate in this region of the world. When you go to places like India or even Tibet, where there is an embrace of a very rich spiritual history and lifestyle in general. When you recognize these factors, when you reflect on all these different experiences, it seems as if there is an imbalance. But once again, this reflection of the mind, this analysis of the mind, and feeling that there's error or there's an imbalance in the way that humanity operates is once again limited. When you recognize humanity as a species in alignment with the global consciousness grid, there's a recognition of infinite intelligence at work. And here's why. The regions of planet Earth and all of the governmental structures they're all distorted to a certain extent, because once again, humanity has been experiencing 13,000 years of enslavement. The monetary system is a debt-based system based in enslavement. The governmental structures intend to control the people of those nations, these sectors of the planet, in order to maintain a sense of power, maintain a sense of control, as if parenting, it has to parent the beings of these regions of the world. Of course, this is the dark at work, but once again, we're here on planet Earth, and we have to recognize that everything has a greater purpose beyond what we're able to recognize. And of course, it's temporary, where the transition we're moving through at this now moment is allowing us to unfold the path out of such limitations, these structures. However, what has been taking place, the purpose or the core purpose of such an experience, is to feed the consciousness grid of humanity. The consciousness grid of humanity is the grid of awareness that we all are aware of. This is where we receive our information as a collective, as a species. The human species is connected to this grid that surrounds the planet globally. And of course, this information is fed into this grid from all around the world. That means the experiences of souls throughout the region of China, throughout the regions of Africa, South America, North America, Antarctica, Greenland, New Zealand, Australia, and here in Germany, all of these grids, all of these experiences amongst these beings and all these different locations on the surface of planet Earth are fed into the consciousness grid of humanity. This information, this consciousness grid, is the human experience itself. Whereas we become sensitive to our own presence, to our own energy field, those of us who are awakened more and more on a daily basis through our work, through our grounding, through our presence, through our connection with the planet itself, we connect with this awareness more and more as we continue forth in this transition. All of the experiences of humanity as a whole are fed into this consciousness grid. And as we continue to expand in our awareness and ground ourselves, we connect with this information. We're all benefit from the experiences of humanity as a species. What is happening is this information that we're experiencing, these experiences that all life, all of humanity are experiencing, is being fed into the consciousness grid, the Christ consciousness grid that surrounds this planet. Your experiences, not only are they being recorded in the Akashic records, but once again, they're being fed into this consciousness grid. There's many experiments that you can look up. There's tons of research that you can look up that speaks of the experiment with monkeys or game show tricks that are expressed in different parts of the world, where one group of humans will recognize the details of that which has not been seen before on a conscious level. And at the same time, when brought to a different location amongst another set of humans on another different part of the planet, once these souls understand and see it, souls in another part of the world are automatically able to see it much faster, because the consciousness of the souls in the original spot of the experiment recognized and were pointed out that which was beyond one's consciousness. So once again, as a species, we all connected, and this grid is what is allowing us to be more and more conscious of the data, of the awareness that is the experience here on planet Earth. So let's go back to layman's terms. There are many souls that are experiencing lots and lots of different distortions on different levels throughout the planet. There are no victims here, of course. However, the services being rendered by these souls through their experiences are feeding into the conscious awareness of all of humanity. This goes back to your own sense of awareness and recognizing that as you heal, as you expand in awareness, your spiritual maturity, your emotional maturity, you are assisting all souls throughout the grid because of your own healing. This is where inside is allowing for such a path to become smoother, to become more graceful in nature. Amongst the grids, the interconnected nature of the grids, there's spaces for vortexes, dimensional gateways, and other phenomena that allow for high dimensional beings as well as those of us here in the third dimension to move through and shift to different places on the surface of the planet. At the moment, being that planet Earth in this sector of the galaxy is in quarantine based on the orders of who we are, the angelic guardians, directly from the heavenly realms, have been shut down. The dimensional portals, the vortexes that lead to different spaces on the planet Earth have been shut down temporarily to ensure that humanity is not bothered. There are no mishaps in dimensional splits of other species roaming through time and space that might happen to stumble upon an interest into the planet Earth. Humanity is very sensitive at this now moment because it is moving through this shift. The energetic magnetic field of the planet is scrambled, so humanity is very vulnerable right now. There are many of you experiencing such emotional upheavals because of such a scramble, because of the sensitive energetic nature of the planet. However, we are ensuring that this path is most graceful. This is one of the core purposes and foundations of this guidance that allows for such expressions to take place. Humanity does not need to be bothered at this time. There are many of you that are already skeptical and recognizing our extraterrestrial presence. There need not be extra species that create chaos or mischief, if you will, amongst humanity at this time, because we're preparing for a real first contact mission that involves the materialization of our ships throughout your skies here on the planet, and the revelation or realization that we are ET and we're here on your world. So once again, the Earth grid is very, very, very complex, a very deep matter. But once again, we're moving into the later phases of this healing process where such information is necessary for us to express to you. So the Christ consciousness grid is activating. The grid is built, and as humanity continues to experience everything that it's experiencing through this transition, many sites on your surface world are beginning to activate. There have been many reports of seeing large beams of transparent purplish white light moving into the skies. There have been many, many pictures. These are but reflections of the grids activating themselves. It's a gradual process. However, the grid is activating itself. There's certain points that are receiving very intense and very focused very intense and very focused elements of photonic light here on the surface. This involves cosmic energies. These cosmic energies are for the purpose of feeding into the consciousness grid of the planet, the Christ consciousness grid of the planet, where you are becoming more aware of our cosmic existence, that which is outside of the awareness of humanity as a whole. These energies are entering into your planet. Not only that, you're receiving high dosages of the photonic light coming directly from the central galactic sun. This is also powering your grid, where many of you who have been very, very skeptical of the nature of this transition and the existence of who we are as extraterrestrials are starting to realize that there are no jokes here. This is not fantasy. This is not Hollywood. This is not E.T. phone home. A very real deal. There are no aliens here. This is a very disrespectful term when it comes to who we are, the Galactic Council. However, the grid is continuing to be fed with light, and of course, light is information. So as you continue to expand in awareness, once again, be graceful, continue to ground and recognize the intelligence that is infinite in all that is unfolding in this now moment. So we will shift, have a small discussion on the nature of the Earth grid here at the Ra. And then we will move into addressing any comments, stories, or questions that you may have amongst our audience and move forward from there. CeeLo. Let's rock and roll. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for being here. Another beautiful Thursday in Let's Build here at the Ra. Thank you for continuing to shine your light in this dimension. As always, we love you. Who I am is your Commander Ashtar.
Hello. I am happy you guys are staying tuned. That was a lot of information, of course, as always. Yeah, very lengthy, but much needed. So I'm talking about the Earth grid today. I got another selection here on our Universal Brothers page. It's called All the Way Up with the Galactic Update. And I will share the link with you guys as soon as the song is over or during the song. So enjoy.
Salamat Jalway. You are now on the verge of what can be called something wonderful.
Let's do it for the corner this time. Don't let it catch us in no claws. Nah, we got other things to do. Don't watch So look, yo, we be meditating, I'm in for us, and if we still eating, yo, we be all the way. Yeah. Yo, look, we be meditating, I'm in for us, and if we still eating, yo, we be all the way. Yeah, yo, B. Ayo, no refill, sick with elixir details. It's the sacred body crib with their windmill. Recipe of masterpiece, tell the wizard this magic living be spilling out of my music, talk show television. Sip this flow, cause it flow on the way. Yo, we do plans to be with us. Trust we maintain street playing the Abbey, still in traffic amongst the badness with Advil. I'm being influenced, and if we still easy on the beat, yo, we be all the way up. Yeah, we meditate, elevate for us, and if we still yo, we be all the way. Yeah. Look, we still alive, no poor job. The turkeys and shit be shucking out here trying to stay fly. I'm not like this, my frequency young on the uprise. It's fake out here, but real inside. The eyes deceive. I know I'm God. Why should I believe? We gratitude, the altitude is far, but it's small of the streets. And come back again with knowledge to be. You gonna need more than binoculars to see what I see. I'm talking ET, vernacular, and ciphers is deep. Release a beast, all the frequencies, lost the alien numbers is deep. They call it race, and policies to live out to breathe. Fresh air tastes sweeter than a bit of honey. Tossing bars like Chico sticks to candy, press the candy kid, causing all the sugar fizz and kids. Get it tear it up on planet Earth, you get big for really dog. Activate the star nations ready to go. Yo. Yeah. On the way up. Ascended Masters, motherships report in.
We are your ascended masters.
Uh-huh.
The level of corruption in just plain stealing saturates every nook and cranny of the entity that we call USA Incorporated.
Salute.
The end for this regime is near. Anything done to try to prevent the natural flow of energies is doomed to failure. Deep down, the dark cabal now realizes this fact and is presently bracing for the inevitable. Heaven knows just how powerful what is happening truly is. All life forms can sense how this higher energy is transforming you and all in this reality. The old ways are gone and a new set of consciousness rules is taking over. Each reality is governed by a set of rules that, when so deemed by heaven, can be altered. This is now in process. Heaven is divinely forging a new more rich reality for us. These various procedures by heaven are moving your consciousness upward and adding new chakras to your bodies. Atlantis' main scientists secretly moved you lower in consciousness and increased your body's overall density. Heaven, as noted, is now reversing this vile experiment. During the following reign of the Anunnaki, you were given false beliefs that explained these changes to you as a natural act. This is far from the truth. We have been working at this for the past 3,000 years. This amazing, pristine world is to become the core for a truly wondrous solar system. This new solar system is to contain 12 main planets and a most magnificent central sun. You are to be the guardians of this most beautiful new star nation. Heaven is to give us all a sacred duty to assist the rest of this galaxy in its final transformation to the light. Today, we continued our weekly reports to you. Heaven is carrying out a special divine plan that you and I are a most wondrous part of. Let us work in our own way for this most glorious new reality. Know, dear ones, that the countless supply and never-ending prosperity of heaven are indeed yours. So be it Salamat Gajan. Salamat Jah. Syrian for be one, and be enjoy.
That was all the way up. I'm going to share that with y'all in a moment here. And we'll get to the discussion portion.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back. For those of you who departed for a second, here at the Let's Build, of course, our subject today is the Earth Grid. This is our open discussion portion. Of course, we're going to speak a little teeny bit on the Earth Grid and the way the energies affect us, and maybe get some stories about our travels amongst the planets to sense the nature of the energies of the Earth Grid and working with these energies, of course, as conscious souls here in the physical. So here's our open discussion portion here at the Rock. And here we go. What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Y'all good?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. That's what's up. So, yeah. I don't want to go into all the details. There's a lot of details and stuff in the nature of the Earth Grid.
So much.
I didn't even really scratch the surface of this stuff. I mean, I was trying to touch on things just to get a small synopsis of what it's about. But I think probably the most proactive or interactive portion of all of that is, basically talking about our travels and maybe amongst y'all like being sensitive. Like, how did y'all feel in certain locations, or if you actually noticed a difference in the way you operated amongst your travels? Like, you ever been somewhere on a planet or vacation or whatever and you felt different? Yeah. Just felt different for you? Yeah.
Yeah. For me, going, traveling Europe in general, it was very, very uplifting and very energetic. But there were certain places that you can go to. There was just something about the area. You felt all this, happiness and energy and just feeling alive. Where you go to another area and it's not as strong,
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I've noticed, even coming here to Germany,
Mm-hmm.
When I first came here, there was a lot of high vibrational energy that I experienced, and then going back to the States, then it was just different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not only the people, but the energy there, the vibration, how people vibrate. You can see it in people's personalities and things like that. That energy just is that way. And when you come back, you see the difference. You know, so going different places, people, depending on the energy field in that area, people react certain ways. So you see it within the people, and it's easy to forget that what you're feeling is energy and not something that's wrong with you. You know what I mean? Something you pick it up, especially if very sensitive. You know. So yeah, I totally feel on that. I mean, like you touched on basically, like for what you did, what you talked about, you hit on everything as far as like how I feel like the energy grids or the portals or the chakras around the earth, how sometimes shifts. So, you know, because I don't think that it always stays in one area. I know that, you know, it moves. It's moving
now.
So, you know, for everyone it's different.
Absolutely.
And if we are aware of it, we can harness it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I know that back then, like you touched on those big artifacts, or you know how back in the days the you know, the Mayans or the Egyptians or the Incas, they all knew about this grid, and is why they created all these ancient sites to kind of harness it. You know what I mean? And now it isn't as potent, I don't think, as it was before.
What's been numbed?
Yeah, right now.
I mean, humanity's consciousness, of course, made a transition, but as the energies from the central galactic sun come into the planet, the cosmic energy we were talking about before, as these energies move into the planet, it's assisting the consciousness of the globe for the most sensitive souls to operate from a more higher energy state, where those higher energies are feeding into the grid and starting to reactivate, almost like, you know what I mean, like what's those light bulbs you cut on and they kind of flicker before they actually come on full blast.
Or like the energy state.
Like the fluorescent lights, exactly. The fluorescent lights, like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of a that kind of effect where as the cosmic energies move into the planet, the consciousness of the souls who are open. I mean, not even, I mean, when we talk about awakened souls, like, it's not even people who are actually intending to like ascend or even aware of what ascension is. They just have their heart chakra open. They're just open-hearted souls. And some people like open-hearted, but they're like, oh, well, I don't really believe in that kind of stuff. And it's just this, but they're just open-hearted people. Where these people who are like open-hearted, they actually have access to this level of consciousness because they open their heart, they're connected with their intuition and are able to connect with certain feelings. It's just as these cosmic energies enter the planet, they actually connect into feelings like, and how like dreams, like, well, I was on another planet last night. What was that? No, what are you talking about? I don't believe in aliens and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like they get offended. Or at least the mind will project this sense of offensiveness, you know what I'm saying, or defensiveness, because they're experiencing things they don't necessarily understand, but it's just based off of the strength that they have an open heart. That they experience in this. So once again, that grid is it's really something.
And because actually the grid will probably enhance anything you're feeling at that moment, what you express the most. You know, and you talked about the sexual energy. A lot of people are going through and expressing it more at certain points, or like you said, open heart, or you know, and a lot of people don't understand what it is, but if they look inside and they're honest, it's just that it's enhancement of what they naturally feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that energy grid, I think, is important though. As we transition, I think it's important for all of us to be, you know, for the world to get, you know, be harmonized, to be in peace, and be able to communicate with each other a lot better. So basically, if it's enhanced, and like you said, if consciousness is being raised on this side of the world, it's easier for the other side of the world to pick up on the same type of consciousness. Because we're all connected, you know, with that grid. It just makes us a lot more stronger, a lot more amplified.
Absolutely.
So
What about you, CeeLo? What you how you feel about that, man?
I mean, I've had the opportunity to travel a bit, even in my childhood, because my parents worked for the government, same government that's causing a lot of distortion in the states. But
which government is it?
Huh?
I said, what government is it?
Oh, the U.S. government.
No, I'm saying, which government isn't?
Isn't? Oh, yeah. Which one was it? Yeah. No, of course, yeah. And I've been lucky enough to go travel since a little child. But as I got into my adulthood, I was more in tune with different cultures at first. Trying to embrace all the cultures. But that allowed me later on, after I had my awakening process start. I can feel the different energy from people. Most of it's fear, because a lot of them, especially meeting me, I'm different, or they can tell I'm from the western part, or if it was somewhere else, it was like they like look at me in a way, and then they prejudge you. Most people do. They prejudge you, but then when you come open-hearted, they're like, "Whoa, what's that?" Because it's like they're not used to it. So as far as the energies go in different areas, for me, I think the most potent was in Korea. Besides here in Germany, but Korea got real potent for me, probably because one, that's where I was born, and also going back there a few times, I kind of went from the stages of getting to know my culture again, and then being open-hearted the last time I went. So it was like I was put there, and it wasn't a mistake for me to be put there at that time, like you were talking about earlier. Yep. And I felt that I did provide a lot of healing to people that I met and associated with, and had friendships with. Yep. And they would ask me like, how are you able to just be so open and not be so upset about certain things and have so much patience and this and that. And I was like, when we've all been through these different things, it's like you have to be aware enough to know what those energies are. I expressed it to them and know that love overcomes all of that. You know what I mean? And but yeah, for me, Korea was like the most potent, maybe because it was the place I went to right after my awakening process started. Yeah, so it was good. I don't know if there's a chakra point there now in that area or region. In the Pacific, right there in the area. Yeah, not directly, but of course it's a bunch of energies in that region of the world in general that have that. Well, of course you're closer to the crown chakra, in that region, and then of course you got tons of. Ley lines everywhere on the planet. In actuality, you got the central vortexes and all that, but put it this way, like the chakras are like houses, right? But all the houses, like they receive an energy from the grid itself, but at the same time they're like transformers. Like you have transformers outside that convert energy and move energy throughout the neighborhood and all the other kind of stuff. Like these ley lines have transformers that amplify the energy and push it to certain areas, kind of like arteries. Like the heart's pumping the blood, and you got certain arteries that'll hyper project the blood into certain parts of your body. Like it'll get down here and reach a certain level of momentum, and then these arteries will assist in pushing it down into different regions of your lower extremities. Exactly. No doubt, like nerves. You know what I'm saying? So of course, you got these transformers throughout the world that'll push these energies out and about to allow them to flow. So at the end of the day, more than likely, the crown chakra energy is heavy in that region of the world, period. Like in Asia and Tibet and all other kind of stuff, heavy. You know what I mean? Like look to Tibet, like you know what I'm saying? These dudes are, you know what I mean? Like they, actually protecting a lot of the interests into the inner earth in that region of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like the guardians of Mu and actual, at least new Mu in that region. So it has its effect. For me, I could tell really specifically when I was in Wales. When I was in Wales,
it was more so because I was making music every day that I could tell a very strong difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't in was it Glasgow or Glastonbury or something like that? Glastonbury, there we go, Glastonbury. I wasn't like specifically there, but that was my first time in that region of the world, just in general. My first time in that region of the world and being out there. And CeeLo can tell you, like, a lot of the music I made while I was out there had a lot to do with my feelings. I mean, I was going through a lot of stuff, but the thing is I've been kind of going through stuff like that my whole life in general. You know what I mean? But there, I just, I had the, it was like the emotion. Like, the emotional flow. It was just coming out. Yeah. And I actually, I ain't gonna cried a lot there, no homo. You know what I mean?
But, just I feel like happiness, right?
Nah. No. That won't happen. Yeah, no, that was in England. Yeah, when I was staying with Marie's mom's boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that wasn't a good time.
Yeah, no, that wasn't the best time in the world. But the thing is, I never experienced that level of.
I forgot about that, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Come on, it's been a long time. I never experienced that level of emotion before.
Oh man.
I mean, I experienced emotion and stuff. You know what I mean? Growing up and all that kind of stuff. But in a 3-month period, it was constant. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, why am I so sensitive right now? You know what I mean? Like, I'm crying, all that other stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was like, I kind of stepped outside of myself, like, whoa. But that was a clear indicator for me because once again, I'm very sensitive to my environment and stuff like that. And for me, that energy was very alive and well. I had a lot of deep insight, but at the same time, the heart was the heart was popping. Just keep it 150, like I ain't no front. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I mean, it was relieving because I had an outlet to express it. Of course, I was making music and stuff. I had the outlet to express it, but at the same time, it was intense. And I've been making music the whole time, so I was like, well, why am I, turning into an R&B singer all of a sudden? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, look like Keith Sweat right now. This is whack, yo. Like, you know what I mean? But just
keep whack now.
No, it ain't whack now. Yeah, but like I said,
they're like start up a whole new.
Yeah,
exactly. I went through a lot too. That's when I first went to Korea, but I went by myself. I didn't bring the family with me. So while he was making the music, I was listening to the new track every day, and I'm walking from like the base to the train station and back. But like I had started making these playlists, and every time he put a new joint up, I added it because I was like, yo, all these joints are so deep.
Yeah.
And then it just got like more better, and then all this galactic updates started happening to him. You hear some a lot of real live like G4 music coming out, and you see me and all these tracks, and I was like, yo, yeah, that's tight. So we went from like the emotional period to like you could tell he was like getting back into his confidence period, and then it was like by the time he left that joint, it was like wow.
Yeah, it was a bounce back. It was a heavy flow of energy, but like I said, that region of the world was strong. Same thing with LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Felt grounded. I've never been in that region of the world before either. I felt real, grounded, and I jumped on a lot of stages and stuff, and in front of a lot of people that I've never met before, and Hollywood folks and stuff like that, and that was cool. And that was actually one of the purpose of me going out there. I just wanted to be able to have that kind of experience, and I'm not just European cool. You know what I mean? I wanted to go to Hollywood Boulevard and be with the, I wanted to hang out at the W Hotel, jump on stage, talk to the people, express the same thing I'm expressing, over here in Europe in front of these folks, and actually get some feedback. And they're like, yeah, it was cool. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, but the thing is, I felt calm.
Yeah,
it was like a very calm, grounded energy. So
I tend to feel like a lot more calm when I'm near region of water. So
yeah, me too, bro.
I'm saying like water, the beaches, like Spain, Portugal, and things like that. And it's not only, I guess it's the sun that kind of helps too, but is something like you ever felt like your senses were enhanced.
Yeah.
And like everything tastes good and smells good. People that you meet are like.
You was at the Bahamas?
Yeah, my mom went for Mother's Day or whatever, man.
What?
Yeah, I'll have to tell you the story. I led up to it because it was crazy. But she took me for Mother's Day to a trip to Bahamas. We did like 4 days.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, and it was on a cruise. And I remember I was like
man, it would take me
16 or 17.
They taking me on.
The funny thing is everything was beautiful. You know what I mean? Like you sitting upstairs and on the cruise ship, but you're in the pool. Or while you're in the pool or the jacuzzi, you look out and you're surrounded by water. So that was just like a whole different. I don't know. It felt like I was like not on Earth. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was so serene. You know what I
tight.
mean? And the sunset and all that. But the funny thing is, I was like 16 or 17. I'm still stuck in the house. So I got coming in the street lights come on or curfew, right? I was like, hey, Ma, so what time I got to be back to the room? And she was like, I don't give a damn. What you gonna do? Jump off the boat? I started dying. She's like,
she don't have a good time.
Yeah. She was like, go. I was like, all right. So that was another experience for me. The energy was like, oh snap, I'm free. Like that was like my first like super free moment. As a teenager, underneath my mother like that. I was like, okay, cool. But
that is dope though.
But the Bahamas was beautiful, man.
Was some girls out there though?
What, in Bahamas?
Yeah.
Best believe it. They had these. I remember when we stepped on the boat. They had these chicks that want to braid women's hair or whatever, right? And they was doing it right there, like at the stand or whatever. So they was braiding hair.
You got some hair braided?
No, I ain't had no hair like that. I had just short. I think my mom did and got a couple little braids or whatever, so she gonna look all like kind of like she went to
Stella got her groove back.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I called her. She was like, wow, you looking like Stella got her groove back when you back on this boat, man.
Okay, I'll get
But nah, it was just, but definitely I do feel that that's by the water and the beach. It's like a whole different.
Same thing.
It's like a command calm, man. It's like you don't have a choice really. Like your body, just like your intuition, it's just like relaxed. Yeah, it's cool.
Absolutely. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, here at the Let's Build, we're speaking on the Earth Grid, and I feel like we should go ahead and conclude our open discussion portion here at the Rock. We'll take another small break, and then we'll get to some of your stories here on our comment feed. It seems like we have a lot of contribution on this side of the house, and that's beautiful. So in a while, we'll get to some of your inquiries and your stories and continue forth. So thank you guys once again for joining us.
I think so. It depends if it was cut off.
What's up, bro?
But there wasn't questions in the beginning.
No, I remember those. There was a few that I do remember. Okay. Yeah, I automatically remember those. That's all. I'm going to ask AZ those up front. There's a couple of things. But I think we kind of answered it in the discussion.
Yeah.
So we will go to another track. Now this one is special because I heard it when I was in Korea, but you cannot get this on the Universal Brothers page, and you cannot get this on the Basement Politics or UBC page. So this is a rare track, but it has AZ and it has A Styles or Young Miyagi or RJ, but he went by A Styles back then. So pause in advance. This track is called Touched, and it's on actually Angel's Brothers SoundCloud page, DJ Pet Prime Creator.
Okay.
So I will still share it, so that way you guys can go in there. And he does a lot of great music too. He's currently in Alabama.
No, Arkansas.
I'm sorry, Arkansas, and he's doing a lot of weddings though. So
Weddings,
a lot of love.
weddings,
Yeah. But anyway, this song is called Touched. Enjoy. It's one of my favorites.
Dude, come on, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, touched. Within the heart space. They don't connect up. So we connect up through these frequencies. We touch. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely going in the universal organization. Wow. Really cool. Golden arms, no Megatron, upper echelon. Casanova, I'm super dumb. Yeah. You know what, man, we press charm. The next step of the rain. With the press charms, know the beat and rank. Came out to the six. Activated the pin. Spray paint on these beats. No fresh beats working in the slaves. I'm stripping my plates. Still out in these streets. Yeah, son. Out here, activating cities, life works with me. Co-creating this elevation, so watching this element. Sherlock 15, offended back in shitties. Crystalline 13. When I stop and think, I start to rock. Never fix what I make. Touching you through this breeze. Hey yo, y'all blast off, no gas, y'all. Fine birds, just say the word. The plus of these ambers. Touchdown when I touch y'all. Hey, yeah. You rolled up, tell stuff in that moment, yeah. You know we on it, yeah. Touch your heart when I'm left up. Say you go, yeah. Touch your heart when I'm left up. Say you go, touch your heart when I'm left up. You rolled up, you tell stuff in that moment, yeah. You know we on it, yeah. Touch your heart when I'm left up. Say you go, yeah. Touch your heart when I'm left up. So real, so European, so good, so Philippine. I got the word in my hand, boy. Holocaust in my pen. I'ma stay on it right now. I don't know when it's gonna end. I'm just doing it right now, boy. I don't know what it's gonna bring, but I'm in this shit. I'ma turn this shit down. Turn up the lights when I'm holding the mic. But I turn my foot down. Wonderful down. Wonderful down. Why you saying I'm not ready? I think y'all ain't ready neither. Listen to the sound of ether. Rap and breathing. Rap is what I inhale. Rap is what I breathe out. Breathe out. Shots fired from the million hours. I'm one guy. Too deep for y'all. Like yes, ahead of y'all. Catch me out the Astros. I'll be space ride. Flow majestic. How bitches. Yeah, I never thought I could do this, man. Yeah. But till I die, I'ma do this, man. Yeah. My testimony is to hip hop. I must open loud. Upper echelon always in one floor. She's there, man. Keeping it rolled up and we talk stuff in that moment, yeah. You know we on it, yeah. Touch the heart when I'm left up. We sitting on gold, baby. Touch the heart when I'm left up. We sitting on gold, yeah. Touch the heart when I'm left up. We keeping it rolled up and we talk stuff for that moment, yeah. You know we on it, yeah. Touch the heart when I'm left up. We sitting on gold, baby. Touch the heart when I'm left up. We sitting on gold, yeah. We sitting on gold, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Universal brothers and sisters, 2014. What I'm saying, I think it was mixed over at Hector's crib.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's why
right before I left.
Yeah, that's why he put it on his SoundCloud.
Okay, that's what it is.
Wow, classic,
It's crazy right
track.
Easy enough. Once again, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here at the Ra. Live here at the Ra, the Let's Build. We are speaking today on the Earth grid and the nature of our existence here on Mother Gaia, our hosting planet for this human experience we are unfolding in this now moment. We've reached our last portion of this evening where we are going to address some of your inquiries and stories here in our comments section about the nature of our Earth grid. Shout out to Universal Brothers. What up, Andre Ford? Big up, big up. Ain't nothing. We doing what we does always. Big up, Will, for joining us. Namaste, Andrea. Yes, ma'am. We continue forth. Big up to Marissa. What's going on? and our community here. Once again, now let's build a beautiful platform for us to coexist, co-create, and continue to serve the divine. So, CeeLo, you the maestro for our questions this evening.
First, I know this is like while you were
Talking and all that kind of stuff.
There was a question like you were talking about where the chakras are located, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking the third eye chakra. Is it does the third eye chakra move location? Actually,
Yep, that's it. Yep. They're gonna.
Yeah, the third eye chakra does shift. Its foundational location on this plane of existence is, to the planet Earth, of course, is in Glastonbury. Glastonbury, United Kingdom. It shifts through that region. There is a formula to such a shift. It doesn't randomly move. There's a formula to such a shift. I'll have to get back with you on that. However, and being that I'm not necessarily in this for the analysis of it, it is where it's supposed to be. Of course, it shifts. There's a formula to this shifting. However, I'm not able to express the nature of that formula at this time. However, it is also necessary to recognize as we move through this transition on the new Earth, the chakras, all of the chakras of this planet, we're moving into a new dimension. And as I expressed before, every new dimension has a different energy field. And of course, with this new dimension, not only does it have a new energy field, but of course, the planet itself, the chakra centers of the planet itself has different locations. So as we shift, the planet shifts and the energetic nature of the planet's surface shifts along with it. So temporarily, yes, the chakra locations that I expressed before, these are the locations of the chakra centers at present. However, they're gradually shifting with the planet itself as we move through this transition. So once again, all of this information will be expressed at a later date as we continue to move forth and recognize the sacred nature of such an experience.
So this question is from Tay-Boy.
Tay.
So this was when you were talking about the different spheres and all of that, dealing with the Earth grid.
Mm-hmm.
He says, so BOB ain't right when you say the Earth is flat?
No, we live on a spherical planet. The spherical planet is it's recognized in the nature of our toroidal field. There's an energy center where there's a 360-degree expression into the upper regions of the energy field, moving back down into a circular formation back to that energy center. The flat Earth is this is a tool of confusion. Another tool of confusion that's expressed by the Cabal to confuse humanity further into more chaos as we awaken to the nature of such an existence. I want to say for the last 100 years here on the planet, amongst Western civilization, the nature of the spherical planet has never been in question. However, as the consciousness of humanity expands and we start to reach the further regions of realizing even further the nature of our existence, of course, this plane of existence and those souls operating within the lower dimensions or frequencies of the dark are going to attempt to throw outdated theories into the collective to attempt to cause confusion. So no, ladies and gentlemen, the Earth is not flat. The circular, spherical planet where the geometric structure of the human body is integrated with the nature of the planet, with the nature of all organisms on this plane of existence. It is seen in things as simple as the nature, excuse me, it is seen in structures as simple as the nature of an apple or the nature of an orange. You cut it in the middle and you look at the core where the seed is, you see the outgrowing of the apple into its top, into its outside layers, and back into itself, back towards the seed. Same as with the orange, or if you were to cut any spherical object at its center that grows, or organism at its center, it grows from its center outward, just as the formation of the toroidal field. So there is no confusion there.
Okay, this next question is for, I believe this is Julie Rogers. She has a different name on here. Mount Nefer. She's asking about the Earth grid. Does it ever get holes in it and needs patchwork?
No. No, it does not. It does not. This is a sacred grid space, energetic in nature with the electromagnetic field, where once again, the Earth as an organism is constantly maintaining its energy field on all levels of existence, on all dimensional planes, where there is no room for blemishes. There may be imbalances at times amongst this experience, of course. As always, everything is perfect, and these imbalances are quickly adjusted via the spiritual hierarchies and infinite intelligence itself. However, there are no holes in the energy field or the magnetic grid of the planet.
Okay, yeah, that was a great question. Cassandra has a statement here. When I travel outside my hometown, the energies feel much lighter. Where I live in the city is very low vibrational. As soon as you leave the city, you feel much happier. Connecting back with nature, most likely out in the boondocks.
Absolutely, Cassie. Yes, of course. As you more than likely you live in a very dense area, and of course, as you move outside of the chaos of that environment into a much more spacious environment when it comes to nature, naturally you're going to feel a lighter energy. This goes for any of you who live in densely populated city centers here on the planet. You're going to feel these energies, and of course, it's necessary to connect with nature as you do your work in these city centers. You're not here to do the work in nature all the time. There are many of you who retreat to nature quite often, and this is beautiful. I'm not saying that anything is wrong with going to nature. Of course, I do it quite frequently. However, as a starseed light worker, this is Luke. Can I do that? Oh no, this is actually a different video.
You can do it.
Hey, what's going on, Luke? Give me a second, man. I'm actually in the middle of the show now. I'm gonna call you. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, actually, they have the option. I was going to share that with y'all earlier. So you have to invite a friend.
Yeah.
You can actually click that, and now you can actually stream. Yeah, no doubt. So we'll do that at another time. Anyway, big shout out to Luke Michaud. Thank you for chiming in. I'll connect with you a little bit later on. We're doing the show right now. However, let's keep it moving. What was I speaking on?
The last question?
Oh, gotcha. Once again, many of you live in dense city centers as light workers, star seeds, indigos, and awakened humans. It's beautiful to connect with nature and go to embrace nature and aligning and connecting with Mother Earth. These are all beautiful things. However, a lot of your work takes place in these city centers. You're the light amongst the darkness. Yes, it can be uncomfortable for many of you who are very, very sensitive to the nature of these fearful energies and a lot of the distortions that humanity radiates. However, you are doctors in the ward, and the patients enjoy your healing as you continue to shine your light here on the surface. You are here to assist these souls in shining the light of divine truth amongst these city centers of much darkness and technology and power lines and lack of sunlight for those who live in city centers where there are a lot of tall buildings. So once again, Cassie, I understand the nature of your experience, and of course you can tell the difference. I can tell the difference when we need to retreat and go in nature to connect and revitalize our energy, to take a break. We do so. However, we return to our homes with a brand new light so we may shine the light amongst the darkness in service to the human species and all life here on the planet Earth. So a beautiful experience indeed. What y'all got, man?
From Lucy. What's up, Lucy?
Lucy, what's up, lady?
I am drawn to many ancient and spiritual places on the planet since my awakening and have visited a fair few of the earth chakras. Some places I feel more at home as if I've been there before.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, of course. Once again, always following your intuition and embracing that which you are led to through your notions. Connecting with such energies, visiting certain sites. There are many of you that have intentions of doing so. Take your time, allow yourself to experience these experiences in divine timing and order. It's not necessary to rush to these locations. However, you will be drawn to these energies to experience such a connection where when you reach these locations, there's energies there to be shared with your energy field that you carry with you, that you take with you in connecting with these locations. So those of you here on your journey, as you are led and intuitively guided to go to certain places, do so in joy and openness and gratitude, and recognize that there's energies that are being shared with you when you visit these locations in divine order as per your own design. Sacred activations take place when you visit many of these locations because you're awakened, because you're aware, because you're sensitive, you're open to these energies being expressed and relayed to you per your own design. So allow, enjoy, and experience the blessing of life and existence here on planet Earth.
From Ahuva Mikalovici. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful name.
Good shot. Good shot. I think that was probably correct.
She states, I was born in Israel, but my parents were born in Romania. A few months ago, I went to Romania to meet the ambassador of Agartha on Earth, Tamarinda Mason. The moment I was on Romanian Earth, it was such an excitement. I felt the Earth welcoming me and blessing me. I really was in tears of gratitude. It was my first time in Romania in this lifetime, but I knew the country in my heartstrings.
Absolutely. Beautifully, intuitively expressed. Yes, of course. There are many of you who have these connections. You have these connections, and as we embrace them and recognize them and allow ourselves to move through these journeys, we continue to connect with those experiences and essences that are familiar to us. There are many lifetimes we've experienced here on planet Earth, all of us, where now is the culmination of all of these lifetimes. So there are connections that we share with many regions of the planet, and it's necessary for you to embrace them. It's good, great.
Yeah, a little conversation and pastor. Oh, okay. Well, just Savannah Sinclair asked this question to Todd, but I can ask you this question. And basically, what is karma to you then? I guess in association with the Earth grid.
In association with the Earth grid, you're talking about karma?
Yes. Like how would
that translate into the Earth grid?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're dealing with a very complex matter. There is regions of the planet, peoples or nations of the Earth species that have collective karmic experiences. This reality exists. Now, as far as the analysis of what type of karma or the nature of that karma, that is not to be analyzed, because at the end of the day, it's very complex and built upon generations of experience that have their root in some of the depths of the human linear experience. Even karma on an individual level is not expressed or realized from a black and white space. Many of us, especially newly awakens, who feel that karma is okay. If I do this, somebody's going to do the same thing back to me. Karma doesn't work like that. It's not that black and white. It's a little bit more complex than that. And at the end of the day, to feel that karma is God taking notes or someone taking note of what you do to make sure you get it back. This is rather elementary and a little immature. This is not the nature of karma. As far as with how it interconnects with the Earth grid itself, this is probably the best way I can explain it in human language. This dates back to the peoples of particular regions at their origins throughout the surface of planet Earth. Now, of course, there is the individual, and the individual is more important than the collective, and recognizing that the individual is source. At this portion of the transition, we have, in actuality, moved far beyond a recognition of a group collective consciousness or a group collective karma of a particular people. If those of you that are sensitive enough to recognize that this karma has taken place and been revealed already, then you can move beyond it. There are still those who hold on to feelings of victimization, guilt, shame, and other distortions in being unawakened. However, the individual is allowing their own karma to be unfolded and realized as they continue to ground themselves. Now, as far as how that works with the grid, the energies are there. The energies are there within that grid. However, the soul cannot, or at least the awakened soul, is not bothered by these energies and recognizing the core foundation of one's own existence within the heart space. You can experience, and what I mean by that is you can experience a particular type of energy in a region of the world in alignment or in connection with the energy grid. However, as an awakened soul in balance, as you continue to ground yourself and return to your own heart space, you aren't necessarily affected by these energies. So what is an energetic thing? In certain regions of the world, many things have been done that involve karmic experience of a particular people, of a particular region of the world. However, those on the awakened path recognize these external energies as not being powerful enough to manipulate the nature of their presence. So, in human terms, that is the best way I can express the nature of karmic collective energy in alignment with the earth grid itself, as well as in alignment with the individual karmic energy of the incarnate itself. So, what you got, bro?
You might want to give Jason some love.
Yeah, what's up with Jason?
He's having a big conversation. He's got a lot of input.
And what is it about?
You have to, just some statements here.
What's it about, Angel?
Okay, well,
We ain't got to go into details.
so we go for the first statement. And everybody's trying to answer.
Okay, here we go. True souls know no light nor darkness. They simply instruct us to do good. The mind is the emotion that restricts our soul's influence on the body.
Keep going.
And then, let's see. The soul has no place. It is everywhere at once, universal. The flat earth is possible if everyone believes it. And let's see.
There's something about penalty.
Oh, you want to go to that? Okay, I got it. Zero. It's right here. Okay, here we go. Okay. Your soul has no name, it knows no race, physical wealth, or earthly status, and it never will. You and all of us are going through a test. Stand for what is truly right or suffer dishonor.
And Todd says there is no suffering, Jason. And then he's like, be an example. Jason says, be an example of right or die.
And Todd said no penalty. And then
Okay, yeah, now boys,
you know what I'm saying? So
just,
like
that's a lot of drama. If
anything,
anything, once again, thank you for tuning in, Jason. This is not the platform for such expressions. There are no opinions here. There's either a resignation or you don't. And once again, wise souls give attention and energy to that which they resonate with. If they don't resonate with it, I know if I don't resonate with something, then I don't pay attention to it. Just simple as that. This is an expression of spiritual maturity. So, what else y'all got?
Born in the house. My bad.
13, what up, 13?
Okay. Okay, Valerie Ames, do you believe or know if artificial life can interfere with the ley lines and planetary grids?
Artificial life?
Yeah.
Can manipulate?
Or she said AI, artificial life.
Okay, like artificial intelligence, gotcha. And then what?
Can interfere with the ley lines or planetary grids?
Well, that's a great question. Who's that again?
Valerie Ames.
Valerie, thank you for being here. A beautiful question indeed. Recognize or know this. Over the past generations, you better know that those of certain governments here on the planet Earth, many of the major governments here on the planet Earth, those in high influence of the dark, have been attempting to manipulate the Earth grid and take control of the grid for a very, very long time. If you notice, or what we've noticed is many of, and specifically America's military has placed military bases on many of the grid points or the nodes, the cross-sectional points of the Earth grid. They've placed small military bases on. So they're located directly on grid points. The purpose of that, or their intent behind doing that, was an attempt to have a certain control over the Earth grid. Now, these are supposed to be those who encourage you that such a reality doesn't exist. However, they spend billions of dollars, or they have spent billions of dollars over a certain amount of generations attempting to place control infrastructures over these energy points. In actuality, quite a few of your major war conflicts have been with the intent of accessing portals, sacred portals, and vortexes of a sacred nature. There's another subject matter, which is in actuality not our focus. Yes, it was possible. It is possible to manipulate. However, once again, the sector of spaces under quarantine at present, who we all, the angelic realms of the Galactic Council of the Galactic Federation of Light, are ensuring and monitoring every aspect, every nook and cranny of this entire dimension. There is nothing done here on the surface of planet Earth without our awareness. There's nothing done here on the surface of planet Earth without our awareness. And once again, we're time travelers, so we know the moves that are intended to be made prior to them actually even making them. So it is not possible for this type of manipulation. We are aware of the grid. We are working directly with Mother Gaia. And of course, we are assisting in healing the planet and allowing for a graceful transition beyond these immature attempts of your world governments to hijack the consciousness grid of the planet. So great question. However, it was possible, but this is not a possibility anymore because of the divine nature and the addicts of heaven decreeing that this would not take place. So all is well indeed.
So, question from our brother Stefan. Steph, man, what's going on out there? I love visualizing, and my question is, how much can it help Gaia? Feel like I can visualize love and peace to other souls as well.
How much visualization can help Gaia?
Yeah. He loves visualizing. His question is, how much can it help Gaia?
Well, it is helping. As far as the gauge of how much it is helping, this is not necessarily for analysis. It's just up to you to embrace these visualizations and know that your energy, the visualizations within your energy field, are allowing for such a reality to continue to manifest for you. Now, as far as the realities of other souls, this is another factor, because once again, as an individual, another soul and their projections, based on the respect of my free will, another soul and their projections, even if they're wholesome, cannot affect me as an individual. There are many souls that do not intend to see unity here on planet Earth. They want to continue to fight. They have the right to experience such a reality. However, once again, that reality is dissolving here on the planet. However, they have the right to embrace such an intent and maintain such a reality. Once again, this is a hologram, and you can intend to see harmony amongst all souls, but once again, this is a free will decision amongst all souls, amongst your reality, within your spectrum of vision, of experience, within your particular dimension, the dimension of your frequency at present. This is what you can experience. However, the focus is always within and never on attempting to make another soul change or experience what you want them to experience. All are experiencing what they have designed for themselves to experience. We can only focus ourselves within and cultivate the energy that we have within and experiencing the loving, gentle reality that we intend to experience based on the level of focus and work that we do inside of ourselves. So, yes, your visualizations are beautiful. Continue to embrace them and cultivate them with all that you have. you have to understand and know that these are very helpful, and they are doing the work that you intend for them to do. However, on the other hand, it's not possible to change another person's reality because you intend for things to be different for them. You can shine the light as an example and allow things to be beautiful for you. And of course, that light will shine the light as an example, as a leader, and possibly they are influenced or inspired by your existence and allowing for such a reality for themselves through embracing that which you embrace for yourself. So once again, the focus is always within, Stefan. Thank you for shining your light. Gaia truly appreciates your presence and loves you eternally.
Word. Linda Eubanks. I've lived in the wilderness for over 45 years, very close to Mount Shasta. And this is why I feel these energies and might be know others with the same experience. I don't know women like me, and she still lives close to Mount Shasta. So I guess she's asking you, is that a very big possibility why she feels that energy so great still? And do you know of any other people that have lived in Mount Shasta as long as she has?
Yes, intuitively, you know. This is the nature of your experience and being such a sensitive soul because you're connected with that region. So necessary to embrace it. However, there are quite a few souls that are out there with you. It's not up to me to name them. You will come into contact with them eventually throughout this transition. Of course, via your own intentions, you're actually creating such an intent through your path. However, there are those who live amongst such a lifestyle. It's just, once again, throughout your path, you'll experience such a connection naturally. What you guys see?
I think we're getting to the gist of it down here.
Yeah.
Let's see, I got one. Okay, Savannah Sinclair. We've been talking a lot on the comments too. But is the grid broken or compromised in some way? I used to see the grid and the energy lines between people. I don't anymore.
No, the grid is not broken or compromised. It is a gentle repair. As we spoke before with the, I'll call it the fluorescent light effect, there's, as the energies of the planet continue to elevate and align, there's a on and off effect as the energies continue to intensify and attempting to establish a consistent energy flow amongst the entire grid. There will be connections, and yes, you will, or it's possible that you've seen these connections in certain regions amongst certain aspects of your life. However, this is a constant process where the wiring of the entire Earth grid is attempting to establish a flow of the circuitry that is efficient on all levels, where the connections is similar to neurons being able to operate, or the pistons of a car being able to run all at the same time so they work in unison. This is a process where the energy grid amongst the planet, the energies itself amongst the planet are gradually shifting into place. And as they continue to shift into place, you will start to see a more and more healthy flow where eventually it will just be on. And when it's on, all of them will be on, and you won't be able to turn them off. This is what is taking place with the grid at present. So it's not broken. There is no compromise. There's but a graceful repairing of the grid as it continues to acclimate itself to the energies arriving, and of course, being in alignment with the energies on the surface world.
Savannah's asking you to elaborate more on. Yeah.
What do you mean by seeking to maintain a frequency?
Seeking to maintain a frequency?
Yeah, I guess you just said that in your answer to her.
Yes, of course. When we talk about is the glitches. Sometimes there's energetic glitches amongst the surface. What the Earth is attempting to establish, or at least what the grid is attempting to establish, is a constant flow of these energies between all of the energy points and vortexes throughout the grid, being that it's actually activating itself in its entirety. The energies of the planet itself, along with the consciousness of the species itself, as well as the many changes taking place on the planet, affects the energy. The effect of this energy creates these glitches or temporary cutoffs, and these things take place as the surface world aligns itself. And once again, this is a natural process. The glitches, if you will, are not necessarily compromises of the energy grid. However, catalysts of the development and strengthening of the energy being pushed through these vortexes. So as these catalysts simultaneously take place, there are going to be temporary cutoffs. But this is allowing the surface world and the energy grid and the energy circulating throughout the surface of the planet to align itself. It's a process. And as it aligns itself, it's going to cut on and it's going to stay on. However, it needs to align itself, and we must allow it to do so. What's up, CeeLo? You look frustrated. What's going on?
No. Just a little frustration. That was an orange shot for release pause.
Wow.
Yeah. Some information just came into the sector. Luke asked where's the questions and answer section, and or how did he do it? But I told Luke, please just ask your question, and the questions are answered live and directly. As soon as you ask it, it may take us about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how long AZ takes to answer some questions. But we get to your question, and he just answers them live and direct. So please ask it if you're still there, Luke. Thank you for tuning in. And Savannah got your definite answer on that. She said, "Oh, when it's on, it's on." So she get it. Frequency. Elaine said, her psychic and intuitive abilities are changing. What I want to perceive, I'm not perceiving it as temporary. So I guess she's feeling a little out of touch with the creative abilities right now.
Yeah, well, once again, it's a process, and especially when it comes to high dimensional abilities or extrasensory abilities, I don't want to say the worst thing you can do, but the most counterproductive thing you could do with such abilities is try to make them work. You do not want to try to make them work. Why? Because they're natural. When it's working, it's working. When it's not, it's not. When it's not, it's only necessary to ground, relax, allow yourself to be in the present moment. It's not as if, it's not a light switch. These are things that happen naturally. And as you heal, you allow such connections or disconnections to take place. Yeah, you accept them. And as you accept them, you accept your healing. And as you heal, your connection becomes stronger. So with these abilities, once again, it is not something that you can force. You must allow the abilities to be, and when they're working and you feel them and sense them, then they're working. If they're not, relax. Ground yourself and do something else. It's not time. I don't attempt to force myself to create anything. I don't force myself to attempt to read minds or astral project or become clairvoyant I allow these things because they're natural. Me attempting to force them is the ego attempting to, it's almost like attempting to force a superpower. And whenever the ego mind is attempting to use your superpower, you have the ego attempting to force the divine to do something. And this is never a good thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. See, more questions coming in. A lot of agreements with what you just said. That's pretty much it. Okay. Well, someone just, Dr. Justin Sachs, why is the dark disguising as the light?
Why is the dark disguising as the light? Well, because the dark is in a corner. Whenever there is a desperation to maintain identity within the reality which is light, there will be attempts to be clever and attempt to disguise themselves as the light. This is what is happening. Of course, this is similar to the mind attempting to act as if it is the heart speaking. The mind does this all the time. The mind says, oh yeah, I should meditate. Oh yeah, I should do this. Oh yeah, I should stop whatever. I should stop doing this. And this is the mind attempting to sell you on the idea that you are the voice in your head. The heart knows that everything is perfect. The heart knows that your intent to align yourself is happening naturally. It is the voice of the ego mind that is saying, oh yeah, I should do this. I need to do that. I need to do this, and so on and so forth, to attempt to get you to feel as if this voice in your head has your best interest in mind. And it doesn't. This is not you. This is where people identify with the voice in their head, because the voice in your head will say something that seems aligned and spiritually mature. And when it says that, it's like, oh yeah, this is my consciousness. My consciousness is telling me to do this, and these are great things and things I'm supposed to do in alignment with my spiritual maturity, so I should listen to the voice in my head. This is one of the clever ways that the ego mind attempts to sell you that, or sell you on the illusion that the voice in your head is actually your consciousness. And it's not. It will say many positive things and positive thoughts, and just to sell you on the idea of trusting it. And then there comes the downward spiral path into judgment, chaos, confusion, analysis, questions, and all these other things that take you out of the now moment, which is the home of your true self in silence. So the dark disguises itself as the light in attempting to get you to participate in darkness. This is what is happening, because once again, the dark is very desperate in this now moment, because there's a lot of very, very powerful energy penetrating the hearts and souls of every mineral-based life form on the surface of this planet at this now moment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the awakening of the human species. So know this, embrace it, and continue to be present. Are there any more questions?
One more, and pretty much answer the dark question.
Yeah.
Andrea is asking, how do the grids work with the CMEs and gamma rays? I thought you touched on it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, CMEs and gamma rays is same effect. As far as the grid is concerned, there is no direct correlation with the grid. However, the shots of the CMEs that take place are in divine order and orchestrated by the divine. So the impacting region of the planet receiving such energies is divinely orchestrated. However, once again, such a reality is way beyond a logical analysis and attempting to explain why energies reach or are penetrating such regions. In truth, for the most part, being such a vast expression or projection of energy, a lot of these energies affect the entire energy grid. We have to recognize the colossal nature of the sun in comparison to the planet Earth. We're talking about many Earths. I don't even know this word. Yeah, once again, the sun is way bigger than the planet, put it that way.
Easy to term.
I got one.
Charger? Oh, okay. Yeah, very tricky, very tricky. Once again, the ego mind will attempt to analyze this all day and will always come up short because it is limited in capacity to recognize the nature of such a reality. So we move forward. So if there are no more questions, we are at about an hour 10 or 2 hours 10 minutes, fellas.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, easy enough. So see what the iPad dead. So I think we'll just shut it down here, man. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes. No problem. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a discussion on the nature of the Earth grid. Very, very detailed and complex information, to say the least. We will continue forth in recognizing certain aspects of our experience here on the surface and attempting to identify on a certain level that which is taking place, and allowing ourselves to release some of the intentions of realizing or asking questions. As we continue to ground ourselves and recognize the nature of this transition. If anything, once again, our recap or small recap would be to recognize that humanity as a whole are interconnected, and everyone is doing amongst the structures in which they live that which is necessary to continue to feed the consciousness grid of humanity. The consciousness grid of humanity is similar to what is happening on the internet. The access to information worldwide instantly is allowing for the quickening of an awakening in awareness. That is what is allowing for the liberation of humanity, the transparency that is taking place amongst the many things that have been hidden amongst the consciousness of humanity are starting to be revealed in a very rapid pace. Very, very rapid pace. So all is in divine order. Everyone is doing exactly what they're supposed to do. It's only necessary for us to embrace, allow, and accept all that is taking place, and trust that your path is perfect. Everything that you created as infinite intelligence is beyond flaw. There are no flaws. There are no compromises. There's only perfection. Your work as an awakened soul is in recognizing that you are God, and recognizing the fact that you're experiencing your own design. Your design is absolutely perfect. Everything that you have designed for yourself to experience, all the intentions that you have as far as realizations, the questions that you have, all the things that may pop up in the mind, these are integrated within your own experience. It's only necessary to trust. As you ground, you can release the questions. The Q&A are but the mind activity in basically being in fear and not trusting that which the heart has already created for you to experience. There are no questions that you can ever ask that the heart is not aware of and that has not already been pre-designed within your experience. Everything that you could possibly ask has already been laid out before you and is a part of that which is unfolding for you in this now moment. So the need to ask questions is irrelevant. They're not there. There is no need to ask a question. It's already there. The intentions are already there. You did not miss out on anything, no matter how ignorant the mind is and feeling that you made a mistake before you were born, or you left something out to include in your design before you were born. This is ignorance. Infinite intelligence, an unending intelligence. This is who you are as God, and this is what you're experiencing as your own design. The interconnected nature of humanity is we are family. We are connected. Not only here on planet Earth, but of course amongst who we are as your family from the stars. We're here with you and connected with you and speaking with you to allow the expansion of your awareness, the expansion of your consciousness, which is allowing you to introduce yourself or integrate yourself into galactic citizenship. Your destiny is to become galactic humans and return to the stars, where your physical ascension that is unfolding now is allowing for you to continue forth and being of service to the divine amongst many planets, many stars throughout the galaxy. The Earth grid is but the tip of the iceberg in allowing for such a reality to manifest itself. So, thank you for being here. Until next week, we have a song selection from our maestro overseas. Once again, 333-444, Bird Gang. We in the building. What's good, CeeLo? What you got?
I got I got the other technique right here with the phone. So we're gonna go ahead and go right into it. Universal Brothers. But Commander, what you're saying, we a family amongst the stars. Basically, we are you. That's the title of the track. I'm gonna put it in the comments.
Yes, sir.
Right after this.
Black Fade, no doubt. Salute the fleet, young.
It's time for you to make a commitment to create joy, creativity, and love for yourself. Only then will you benefit others. If you do not evolve yourself, you do not serve others.
Bring the boys, can you dig it? Shine. It's the return, y'all. Yo, they let the poppers pop and the breakers break, and we never let the popper move on in the base. We kind of catch rushing the record, show us how to spin. They spread that name on the wall. You just permanent pain, cause we came here together. Hip hop forever, they put their money on the table and thought they was clever. But the sunshine brighter than what, whatever. Pick the microphone and go ahead, massive thinking. Speaking on the speakers, speaking with the speaking, that people see and they feel we be sure in the way. We're feeling the gas, so fast, we're not creating expressions, but the truth of the day. Golden age, as you say, we back up on the place. Alice is on the maze. Please come out, we should talk about when your presence helps us understand in my land. We all understand the maze. Hey,
Yes, seekers of the great stories. Proclaim allegiance to Earth. Your task at this point in time is to activate the living labyrinth Earth, to restore Earth and the human version of life to the forefront of creation. This is the journey you're on. Earth was established billions of years ago for purpose. She must remain a galactic exchange center of information, part of a vast library system where data from many galaxies was stored. Living library, to be precise, for Earth is located on the fringe of one galactic system.
Wow, for the bridge right to the ground. Never thought I had a space to make a taste of grace, I'll get televisions in the federation to show. If I go to future clothes, I download to the stuff. Cause time can't relate you first to the studio day. You can just do your own expressions after the best. One planet day, then I hope one day up to date. And the it's just the hub of the space. And talk about it when you have to pick up the case. And then we're ready to have a new game. Like the fundamentals of a system page. The will is to the truth.
Egyptians, Incas, Balinese, Greeks, Tibetans, Sumerians, Native Americans, and Maya, Aborigines, and many other indigenous peoples ancestors never once came to live on Earth. Our ancestors came from a universe that had completed itself and understood universally that it was Prime Creator, as the journey of Prime Creator in time. They came from a universe that had discovered its essence, creativity, calling to you from the future. We are your ancestors, existing within you as well as without. We are you.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining us on our Let's Build. We know the sound is muffled, of course. We are playing a speaker attempting to go through this speaker. So yes, the sound is going to be muffled. However, Corey is going to share the link to the song itself in our comment section in just like 2 seconds. Anyway, once again, the path is perfect and divine as always. Is it there, B?
Yep.
Okay, so We Are You is the name of the song. It is there. For all of you who intend to listen to it, it is there. That is, of course, with the Palladian Council. Song expressed, let me see, how long ago was that, B? How long?
Ooh, that was I think
Maybe like last
you
spring.
got back here.
Yeah, maybe like last winter.
Exactly.
Last winter. So yes, with the Palladian Council, we created that track about a year ago today. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here. The Let's Build is always a beautiful connection that we share, and who we are, the angelic guardians of the Galactic Council of the Galactic Federation of Light. Big shout out to the kids, CeeLo in the building. Big shout out to AAA holding it down today. We got Jess and Katarina in the other room, cooling, we chilling. Peace, peace, peace. You know, always one family doing what we does. Again, next Thursday we will be here live from the Rocks to express and connect once again. We continue to serve. Big shout out to all of those continuing to embrace the UBC Rocks campaign. Liliana, we did receive your feather package. I put it in Sean's room. I'll allow him to come and open it and share the abundance with all of us here. Big shout out to Ellen Bush for continuing on her path. Your expressions on play have always been so very beautiful and bring a lot of light into this dimension. So continue to do so, and we honor your services indeed. For all of you here and far, thank you so very much for continuing to shine the light in the darkness here on planet Earth. Your destiny is that of a galactic human. As we move more and more every day into the new Earth, back into the heavenly realms, from who we are, of the angelic realms of the Galactic Council, of the Galactic Federation of Light, and who I am as your Commander, Ashtar. We love you. Thank you so very much for your existence here. We honor you, and it is a great pleasure. We love you. Thank you.